Hello, this screencast is for the week of November 30th through December 4th. It's actually part two of our screencast this week. This is specific to the AP chapter reading. The textbook, the author is Bentley, so we just call it the Bentley textbook or Bentley Readings, chapter 2. With that, I'm going to show you where in Schoology it's located. So if you go back to week 13, you'll see in the self-paced folder, there is this screencast, but then there's also the chapter 2 piece. So if we click into that one time, we'll see that there's a bit of a background, some instructions showing you what you are expected to do. First, if you can download the chapter 2 into, say, Notability or Google Docs, that's fine. You'll see that I'm going to show you in Google Docs my answers, and then I'm also going to show you in Notability how I go through the chapter, which is actually part 2. So not required today, but this is good practice. If you're going to become a high-quality honors AP student, you will need to begin to implement some of these reading strategies as you go through, and your teachers will talk to you more specifically about that. The AP themes that we have are, humans in the environment. We have cultural development and interactions. We have governance, economic systems, social interactions, and technology and innovations. And through these 6 lenses, it's always good that as you're reading things or making connections, that if you grab your highlighter or grab your pen in Notability, you could change those colors. So why not help yourself when doing so? And I'm going to try to demonstrate that a little bit as we go. So it's not necessarily a requirement for today's assignment or this week's assignment. All you actually have to do is turn in your Chapter 2 question sheet, which is going to look like this page. When you receive this, again, you could put this into Notability or into Google Docs. If you put it into Google Docs, you should be able to type right inside the box or put a text box that will layer into that. It's up to you. Hopefully that works the way we're planning. This is a PDF, so you might be able to work that through hopefully okay. But I do want to go over and show you our chapter read. So let me just get my iPad up on the screen for us. So this chapter is not easy. This is an AP style textbook, a college level textbook that much of our course, particularly next year, will be focusing more and more on. But as we are moving our way through the second marking period, we promised that this course would continue to increase in its level of academics. So this is chapter 2, again, the Bentley book. I think his first name is Robert. Maybe that's Robert Strayer. I'm getting confused with, but the Bentley textbook. He's the main editor of the book. If we go through pages, I believe it's 31 through 48, will take us through this text. So what I thought I would do is show you in one of the questions. For example, I'll go over and show you the purposes of monumental architecture built by the Mesopotamians. So as we scroll through and look at the actual chapter itself, and you begin to see, and you'll probably remember this from 6th grade, the ziggurat construction, these step temple pyramids. Unlike the Egyptians who buried their rulers, this was used for ceremonial practices, and they were paying tribute to their various gods and goddesses. And this one is for the fertility god. But take a look at how I'm going to go through the reading using the AP themes colors. So you'll notice that I have, I'm using red here, and that is theme number 2. These are things about different constructions and different things with belief systems. So I thought that as I'm reading I made connections. And as I was answering some of these things about what was being built, I was also making connections of what category they belong to. So later, as we look at irrigation systems, and hopefully my iPad catches up here, irrigation systems I'm trying to point to, reservoirs and canals, those are interactions with the environment. So, now we start to see that these are massive, constructions and builds and monumental kind of things that and here I took this paragraph and outlined it in blue because the construction and maintenance and repair, it took thousands of people. So someone had to be in charge. Someone had to have this kind of authority that would ensure all these things were being done in a manner that people would ultimately accept. So, continuing on through the reading, we begin to see that in Mesopotamia, there's very few geographic barriers that are going to prove to keep people out or to isolate. So, for example, in Egypt, the Sahara Desert is a daunting geographic barrier, and raiders, not so often. But here's my thinking as I'm reading and going through different things. So I'm underlining, I'm boxing, I'm highlighting different things as I go. And now I start to see some of these things like building defense walls. So originally we were talking about ziggurats and we were talking about these things that helped legitimize power. But what else did rulers do? And creating these types of things that proved that they were indeed powerful. So organizing military forces. And as I continue to read, now I start to see in the textbook they're providing some bronze structures. First of all, bronze is pretty cool. They're starting to move around in their technology with that. But notice here, I've just kind of circled this for myself, but I use two colors. Blue for political and governance, but red for belief systems. So we start to see how culture is going to begin to play out. We'll begin to see how the person was dressed, what they wore, the kinds of things they fashioned themselves with will certainly be key to us learning more about a particular society's beliefs and values. So that's basically question two, going through a few items. So if I roll down into here, you'll see a few things that I'll help you with. Building massive ziggurats, looking at irrigation systems, defense walls. I did include palaces. It looks a little more subtle here, but sculptures and busts as well. So your job is to describe the types and the purpose. So don't just give a list. You should be explaining those a little bit better, and so your teacher knows, so that you know what's going on. With every chapter reading, we will have quizzes in class. Our teachers are discussing whether or not we're going to give those quizzes on remote Wednesdays, trying to figure out our shutdown schedule here. But you could expect that after having done these readings, that you will be well prepared for a quiz that we would have in class. And they might only be 3 or 4 or 5 questions. But let me scroll down to another piece I thought that I could help you with question 6. So this is about describing and explaining social structures and how those develop. So I'll just scroll through the reading here past Hammurabi a little bit, but you'll see as we move along to the next section here. Give me one more moment. Here we go. The emergence of stratified patriarchal society. So there's a great vocabulary word, patriarchal society. And again, this is my thinking as I'm reading and the kinds of things that I would do as a good reader. Right away, I see agriculture and wealth. And now I'm thinking, all right, that's economics, that's money. So let me grab my green highlighter and begin to get my brain thinking about how people are going to be set up in society. We often think about society as being upper, middle, and lower class, and we associate that with the economic and the buying power of people. But there's other things. But you'll see me also just box in long distance trade, and I'm just trying to get some ideas in my head about social classes. But we see as a continuation of this sentence, clear distinctions between the more and less wealthy people appeared. So now, in the side of the margin, I drew out my pyramid, famous for identifying social structures. We're going to see as we read more carefully, Mesopotamia is going to be much more sharply defined than previous Neolithic villages. We'll see the ruling classes of kings and nobles. And we're also, well, they're going to get that because of their success as warriors. That's an easy one to understand, but then they have children. And then their children have children, right? So now we have grandkids. And now we're going to start to look at royal families. And is it being passed down in a hereditary manner? Later, we'll see how the legends of these folks are going to be portrayed by, as gods and goddesses. And this is now a belief system, so I'm highlighting this in red. And some of these legends are going to be recognized as full-fledged gods. So you could see me just taking an arrow and just putting that up at the top of society. It's a red arrow because, again, it's theme number 2. We'll look at priestly elites. And that's 2 things, right? So the social structure of the religious folks and then the belief system of those. So there's kind of two things, and you'll see some of the teachers working their way through and showing how to emphasize things a couple of ways. Scrolling into the next page, you'll see that we'll look at some of the less privileged people. So again, the social structures and how they're going to be sorted out in a social pyramid. And then down with slaves. And I think it's important. I've talked about this, I know, within my class, but I'm sure your teachers have done the same. That slaves, different from the United States history that we all are well aware of, with a division of folks in our society and the history that's brought over the course of hundreds of years now. But slaves originally came from prisoners of war, maybe they were convicted criminals, and then people who actually sold themselves into slavery for a period of time. Maybe it's even just throughout a week where days would be given to someone else for the debt that they owed. So there's a few ways of looking at slavery here. But we'll continue with another piece to the way social structures are going to be set up. And the word patriarchal comes into play, and of course, the role of women. We will now start to see gender roles being shaped throughout society based on belief systems for mainly economic reasons. So let me just skip down a little bit ahead to show you what's happening here. And you could read this paragraph a little more carefully, but we're going to see how men would progressively tighten the control over the social and sexual behavior of women. And this was to protect their families. They were not letting their daughters out for casual socializing because they were saving them so that they could be married off into another wealthy family. So with that, let me just navigate back over to the page and begin to show a few things that I wrote down as a way to explain class structures of Mesopotamia. So here we have just a basic summary statement that you could take a look at. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but then you could also see, and you could just press pause with the video, with a couple of different ideas of how we're going to, categorize people. And this probably could be unbulleted, if that's a word, because it's just a different topic. These five here are basically our social structure of people. But again, I hope that you're able to see that it is not just listing, it's also explaining. I hope this video helps. Your assignment is due when your teacher makes the assignment before 11:59 of that particular day. Good luck.